Today on the LA Food Podcast. Welcome to December, dear listener. Where the hell has this year gone? I have no idea. What I do know is that we've got one hell of an episode for you today. Karen Palmer is with us to discuss two of her recent articles on the beef with Wagyu beef, or at least its name, and the 9 California restaurants that dominated Esquire's annual list of best new restaurants in America. In Chef's Kiss Big Miss, we analyze a major takedown of the James Beard Awards that dropped this week on Substack, an interview with the New York Times food critics demystifying what makes a 4-star review, DoorDash's entry into the reservation game, and the LA Times' awarding of its annual Gold Award to a South LA legend. In part 2, my wife makes a festive return to the pod in order to drop the hottest gift guide of the holiday season. She's got everything from vermouth to sugar cubes in there, so if you're one of those people frantically scrolling on Amazon the day before Christmas, our gift to you is having your back. A reminder that the LA Food Podcast is part of the Acquired Taste Media Network. Be sure to listen to our sister podcast, Takeando with Bill Esparza. This week, Bill spoke with Esquire food and beverage editor Jeff Gordonier about Esquire's Best New Restaurants in America list. That's available wherever you listen to podcasts, and be sure to leave both Bill and our show a 5-star review wherever you stream. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Servodio, and without further ado, it's time to chow down. Dear listener, I made a deal with my wife. She let me start a food podcast and eat ungodly amounts of noodles, pizza, sandwiches, and more under 2 conditions. One is that I never utter her name. The other is that I find ways to be healthy outside of my work in food. Being the fantastic partner I am, I found a few ways to up my health game. I exercise almost every day. I try to sneak in salads for lunch whenever I can, and I only ever snack on healthy foods. The macadamia nut has become an essential part of my daily routine, with the best omega-6 to 3 ratios in the nut game, 8 times better than pistachios and 20 times better than cashews. At houseofmacadamias.com, they've got a bunch of different macadamia products that you can enjoy, like savory and sweet snack packs and chocolate-covered snack bars. One of the problems with macadamias I've found is that they can be expensive, but I'm solving this for you, dear listener, because as of today, all you've got to do is head to houseofmacadamias.com and use code LAFood to get a 10% discount on a healthy snack that also happens to be delicious. So what are you waiting for? Head to www.houseofmacadamias.com/discount/LAFood and go nuts. Welcoming back to the LA Food Podcast for the final time in 2025, unfortunately. The LA Food Podcast Bravo correspondent, Karen Palmer. Karen, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I thought you were going to say the last time ever, and I was like, what? That's news to me, Luca. No, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're letting you go live on the pod. That's how it does.
Totally. Something out of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I tell you.
Seriously. Well, speaking of Bravo, we usually start with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because that's what's on right now. But last night, there was another debut, which was the new spinoff of Vanderpump Rules. Did you watch it?
I watched part of it. I don't know. I'm curious to see if they bring the same sort of je ne sais quoi that the first cast had. It's like, I feel like I'm just sort of so attached to the old show that I'm just a little wary, but you never know. These kids could be just as crazy.
It's hard with a reboot. It really is.
Well, and especially Vanderpump Rules, the original, was such a great show. It's like, I just don't know how they're going to top that, but we'll give LVP a chance.
We will. Look, she's made it work in the past. I think it's really funny that, like, if you look at the cast, you can tell who are the people that have worked there for a minute and the people that they just hired for the show based on like just general attractiveness alone.
Totally. Like casting. Yeah, no, 100%. Well, it's interesting too, because one of the girl who's like the manager has been there for like 8 or 9 years or something. And I'm like, so why weren't you on the first series?
Right. Maybe just because you're boring.
Yeah, exactly. So time will tell. But yeah, it was that was kind of an interesting little snippet right there.
Yeah. The other thing that stuck out to me is that it feels like it's just permanently stuck in 2010. Like no matter, even though it is very much set in today's world, like it just feels like permanently any Vanderpump property is stuck in between 2009 and 2012.
Well, I love to, I saw a post today that like the Sir Alley now has like potted plants in it instead of like being where friendships and relationships go to die. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't seem right to me.
No, that ain't right.
Maybe that's like the only update that they've done.
Also, there was a line in the first episode where Lisa Vanderpump is like, oh, people come here for the food, for excellent culinary experiences. And it's like,
I have eaten it, sir, and I beg to differ. I'm sorry, Lisa. I love you, but those goat cheese balls leave something to be desired.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. It's not good.
You're welcome to come and defend yourself on this podcast, LVP.
Exactly.
Did you ever read Brant Cox's review of the place for The Infatuation?
No. Oh, God, I should, though. I'm sure it's hilarious.
It's so funny, and there's the most hilarious anecdote I've ever read in any review of any place ever. He talks about being seated at the table, and the only thing that was there basically was the waters. So they're just waiting for the servers to come over. They're sipping the waters. Server finally comes over. It's not actually the server, it's the busser. And the busser removes those waters because it turns out that they had been from the table before. So,
oh my gosh, could you imagine? Wow, yeah, that's pretty bad. I will say I've eaten there twice. I don't know why I went back for a second terrible experience, but no, the first time Lisa's son Max was actually my server.
No way.
So I was like, okay, this feels like kind of authentic to the show, but like, nobody else, aside from Peter, the manager, nobody else from the show was there. So I'm like, did they work here? I don't know.
We don't know. Nobody will ever know.
We'll never know.
Well, hey, I don't think they work there now. And speaking of things we,
certainly not.
Especially not Ariana, dude, she's like killing it. Anyways, speaking of things we've eaten, I'd love to hear about what you've been eating recently. Anything good?
Yes, I had my parents here in town for Thanksgiving. So we went back up to Ojai, got to eat at some of the fabulous restaurants up there. We went to Highly Likely. We went to Rory's place. We actually had lunch at the Ojai Valley Inn, which was beautiful. I mean, that property is just stunning. And then here in town, we actually went to some of my dad's favorites, Shay J.
No way.
I feel like every time I'm on this podcast, I talk about Shay J. And I took my parents to Musso and Frank for the first time. So there you go.
Their first time?
It was their first time, yeah.
That's like shocking given how much you like that restaurant.
I know. Well, it's funny because my dad watches like The Lincoln Lawyer or something, and apparently the character goes to Musso and Frank. I don't know. Anyway, I'm actually very excited. I have some fun meals coming up. Tonight I'm actually having dinner at Sunday Gravy. Haven't been back there in a while.
Ooh.
Gonna go get my parm on.
Great spot.
And then tomorrow I'm going to check out Max and Helen's, the new Nancy Silverton, Phil Rosenthal diner, which I have not been to yet. So
wait, I'm going to Max and Helen's tomorrow.
No way. What time?
I think a friend of the pod, Brad Metzger, and I are meeting there at like 12 p.m.
Oh, okay. I'm going for breakfast, so we'll be two ships. But,
fair enough. Well. We can compare notes. You got the breakfast, I'll get the lunch,
Exactly, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
So how about you? Where have you been recently?
Where have I been recently? Well, we were in the desert for Thanksgiving. So we went to Bar Isi, which is, we've spoken about on the podcast before, but the desert has had like a real dearth of Italian options, like quality Italian options, especially for pizza. Bar Isi has really filled that hole. Apparently there was like a restaurant out here called Isimo or Isima or something. I think it was roughly in Mid-City or East Side somewhere. And that team opened up Bar Isi at the Thompson Hotel. Beautiful restaurant. It's very like, it feels a little Vegas-y, but like with a nice Palm Springs flair. A little bit evocative of like a Mother Wolf in terms of vibe, but just like really solid pizza. The pizza is like, I think it's good. It's not just Palm Springs good. It's like very good pizza. So, if you're ever in the desert.
Is that, okay, this is a random question, maybe too inside baseball for the podcast, but is it Marco from Pizzeria Bianco who is running it?
Ooh, that is a really good question. I actually don't know. That's so inside baseball.
Okay.
It's above my head.
Okay. Well, we'll get to the bottom of it. But the Thompson is new. It's like brand new too, right?
Thompson's like, yeah, maybe like 18 months old or something like that. So.
Oh, just kidding. 18 months old. Brand new, whatever.
Well, yeah, and look, it can't really walk that well yet. You know, it can barely speak. It can say like a few things, but no, it's not that old. It's a great spot. I really like it. My wife is a big fan of their radiatori pasta with lamb ragu, which is an interesting choice. So highly recommend it for your next time in the desert. Then this weekend we were running errands and we were in the Glendale area and we really needed something like a quick bite and we ended up at Zengulov Hats. Have you been there?
I have. It's so good.
It's so good. The only thing I will say is it took approximately 14 seconds for us to receive one of their Zengulov hats. Like you ordered it at the counter and then like they basically just gave it to you.
Right.
We also ordered a lamajun and a khachapuri. That took approximately 14 hours to arrive to the table.
Oh
like, I don't know what was going on, but there was just we sat there for a really long time waiting for it. So, they're on Armenian time there. So if you go there for lunch, just be prepared. It's not going to be a quick detour.
Right. Might not be an in and out situation.
Yeah, but highly recommend. Even with the wait, just fantastic. Lamajuns are like my new favorite snack. They're probably a lunch, but for me, they're a snack. And then I went to the Magic Castle for one of my best friend's birthdays on Sunday night. Have you been?
I have. I've been a couple times. What do you think of the food?
I had this like epiphany while I was there that I think doing this like between my account and like the podcast has like ruined me, because I went there approximately 8 years ago or something like that. It was long before I ever, posted an Instagram video or anything. And I remember having the beef Wellington there and being like, this is pretty fucking good. Just sitting there and being like, yeah, this is a great time. Yeah, it's $62 and whatever, but like drinking a great martini and like having a beef Wellington, I'm having a great time. Now, I went back with my friend, ordered the exact same thing, and I was like, what kind of like, elementary school cafeteria is this?
Right,
it's just like a completely different experience. And I don't think it has actually gotten worse or anything. It's just my tastes have changed.
Yeah, your perspective has changed.
But it just made me so disappointed in myself. I'm like, just lighten up a little and enjoy yourself. Do you ever have that experience?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I just went for my first time like about a little over a year ago, and I went with a friend who's been there many, many times. And she basically, I trust her taste in food. She was like, you're going to be disappointed in the food. Like, just don't even, that's not why we're here. We're here to like see magic, have cocktails. Like, if you're not a member, you have to eat dinner there. So it's kind of how they force you to spend some money.
Getcha.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I had a steak that was acceptable. I wouldn't say it was good. It was like, it was kind of what I expected. Yeah, it was more about the full experience though than just the food, because I think the magic that they do there is like amazing, I think.
Yeah, it's a great time. No, it's a great, I'm not a magic connoisseur, so I wasn't like, that trick was a little overcooked. Yeah,
no, me neither. I'm like, I have no idea, but to me it was impressive. So whatever.
I will say we did the show at the bar downstairs.
Yes, it's so fun. Yeah,
really fun. That magician was really good. Although I was so proud of myself because I was watching him like a goddamn hawk, and I spotted how he did one of them.
Is it where the card ends up on the like little ledge?
That is not what I spotted. It was one of those tricks where like you put the cup over like an object and then it disappears and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I saw him put the lemon under the cup. I saw it with my hands. Oh, so he did not distract me. So I was very, very proud of that. No shots at the magician.
So you were just like staring.
Yeah.
Like, you were focused.
Like a hawk. Like I was just like you are not going to fool me, sir. Not tonight.
Exactly. Not today, Satan.
No, not today, Satan. But to be clear, he fooled me like every other trick.
Right. 8 other times. Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. But that one I saw.
Like I said, I've been twice. Both times I've gone to see that bar show, and I just love how it's also just super intimate. You're like so close.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always been one of my favorite rooms to be in.
Yeah, I was like debriefing with my friends outside as we were waiting for the valet to bring our cars, and it kind of just like we were thinking, this is probably like one of the most quintessential LA experiences, like right. The Magic Castle, like things that you really can only do in Los Angeles to this degree. And we were kind of struggling to think of like other options, like things that are so LA and only LA, you know, like.
Right. Well, and especially the whole like the aspect of having to have a member like invite you in. You know, it's not just like open to the public where you can buy tickets and all that stuff. So that makes it feel more special.
Yeah. I guess you just also described the San Vicente bungalows, but that feels a little less special. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll pass on that one, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm good on that one. All right, well, hey, we both eat some good things. Too bad I'll miss you at Max and Helen's tomorrow, but I think without further ado, it's time for our favorite segment whenever we have you on, and that is what Karen's been working on lately. All right, so let's start with the beef, because you had a really good story that came out, what, like last week maybe?
Yeah, it was last weekend, yep.
Last week, and it was all about Wagyu beef and Japan's efforts to sort of like educate people on what Wagyu beef actually is. Karen, how did this story come about?
So it's interesting, you know, as a journalist, ideas come from all over. And this actually came from a press release, believe it or not, because we learned that the government of Japan was doing this, you know, month-long campaign with different restaurants around the country. But for the first time, and they've done this in the past, for the first time, they had named 2 chef ambassadors. One is Tyler Florence, who's up in San Francisco, well known from, you know, the Food Network and all that good stuff. And the other one is Jose Andres, obviously hugely respected, and has a presence here in Los Angeles. So, you know, we just got to talking about, it's interesting because you see Wagyu on menus all over California. And if it's a high-end steakhouse, chances are they are labeling where it's from, whether it's, you know, actual Japanese A5 Wagyu, or if it's American, or if it's Australian. But then there are like all these places that do like Wagyu sliders and Wagyu burgers, and there's no real labeling of where the meat is actually coming from. And it's, you know, the thing about Japanese Wagyu beef is it is 100% purebred. The American and Australian Wagyu does have that lineage, but it's crossbred, often with like Black Angus or other traditional cattle.
Right.
So I think, you know, it's kind of the Japanese government's way of trying to, just preserve the heritage and the legacy of the meat and let people know that like this is the like only real pure top quality Wagyu from Japan.
So for people who are out there like myself, right, eating 100 burgers as one does in a given year, and they go to, I don't know, Burger She Wrote, right? And they're like, we're serving Wagyu Snake River Farms beef in our patties. What should my alarm bells be telling me in that situation?
I mean, I think it can still be an incredibly high quality beef.
Right.
Like some of the, you know, and some of the people I spoke with, there's a retailer here in Los Angeles named Destination Wagyu that does like direct to consumer. And he was saying that some of the Australian cattle or Australian Wagyu that they sell is like 95% Japanese and like 5% a crossbreed. So like there can be blends that are very, very close. But I mean, I would just, take it with a grain of salt that it's not like you're not eating A5 Wagyu, because that's like kind of a singular experience. It's like the Japanese have an entire grading system, and the A5 basically means like it's the top quality. It has the best marbling. It has the best yield, the best color, like you know, there's like a scale for all of these different factors. So, you know, that's what you see at really high-end steakhouses for like hundreds of dollars a serving, like that kind of thing.
Right. Well, what's in it for the Japanese government? Is it a point of pride, or is it something else?
I think it's a point of pride and just trying to, like I said, protect the legacy and, you know, showcase the product. And, you know, they did like, in addition to naming these chef ambassadors, they were doing various restaurants in different cities like Los Angeles and Miami and Houston were doing like pop-ups showcasing the product at various restaurants and that kind of stuff. So just trying to educate consumers. And like, I think it's like trying to reclaim the Wagyu title if that makes any sense.
That makes sense. It does make sense. I mean, like in Italy, we do this a lot with like DOP certifications for like San Marzano tomatoes, or like the Vera Pizza Napoletana, the VPN with the Neapolitan pizza. It just always strikes me as like a naked money grab in Italy.
Right.
Yeah, I respect the Japanese for doing it from a sense of tradition as opposed to just like,
I mean, it could be about money a little bit too, but like, no, I do think it's like trying to just differentiate the product and educate consumers.
Yeah. Now, are you a fan when you like come across like pure A5 Wagyu on a menu? Are you ordering it?
Yeah. I mean, am I like bawling out at steakhouses?
Depends who's paying. Yeah.
Ordering, right. But no, I do like it. It is incredibly rich.
Right.
I mean, it's known for the fat content. So it's like you really can only eat a little bit. The last time I had it was at Nozawa Bar. They did like just a very thin slice of Wagyu, just very quickly like flash grilled and then served. And that it was beautiful. I mean, and it was the perfect kind of just bite of it, because again, it can be kind of overwhelming if you eat a lot of it. But yeah, I enjoy it. I don't know if it would be my like go-to piece of meat personally, but it's it's a luxury. It's like a special thing to enjoy in like small portions. It's like caviar, like although people dump caviar and everything, but
people go fucking hog wild with caviar these days. It's I actually had been to one of the restaurants in your piece, the Anime, the Wagyu Steakhouse down in San Diego from Chef Tara Monsad. And, there were some uses that were better than others. Mm-hmm. One was in a Wagyu fried rice, which I thought was interesting because they basically just used the fat to like really, give it that beefy flavor. And then every now and then you'd come across a little jewel of the beef. So I like that. The best use I've probably had of A5 Wagyu actually is at Sushi Bar, Philip Franklin Lee's sushi, like omakase, that I think he has one in Encino, and then now they're popping up everywhere like McDonald's. But they do like one of their course, like that's an A5 Wagyu. And it really emulates like Otoro sushi, like that really, really fancy fatty sushi you get. So in that, or I'm sorry, tuna. What am I saying? People are going to be listening to this and be like, of course it's sushi, Luca. Anyways, you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
And that is a fantastic use of it. So yeah, it was interesting to read this piece. I appreciated you sort of demystifying this, because you do see Wagyu just like everywhere. It's just like a buzzword.
Exactly.
And so understanding what we're really talking about, I think, is really useful.
Right. And where it comes from and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, the other piece I want to talk to you about is your piece on Esquire's Best New Restaurants in America 2025, featuring 9 California restaurants this year. And it's particularly topical.
Yep. Go California.
Go California. And particularly topical because on the Takeando podcast, Bill spoke with Jeff this week, actually, and they sort of spoke about how the list came together. But we didn't talk too much about like California and what it means, in the context of this list. What stuck out to you as you were writing this piece?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, if you're going to get completely nitpicky about it, which I mean, hey, why not?
That's what we do here.
That's what we do. If you look at California's picks, there were 6 in Los Angeles, 3 in the Bay Area. New York City did have more than Los Angeles. I believe they had 7 or maybe 8. So overall, New York City had the biggest grouping of restaurants on the chunk of restaurants on the list.
Yeah.
I did find it interesting though, like in looking at the restaurants from California specifically, which is what I mostly focused on, is like the 3 places in the Bay Area, 2 of them were pizza spots and one was kind of like a neighborhood bistro that sounds really cool. They spin vinyl and this and that. I felt like the Los Angeles picks were just much more diverse and interesting, if I'm going to be honest. Like, no shade to the pizza community, because you know how much I love pizza, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, it was just interesting to me that I'm like, they couldn't find like 2 pizza places in San Francisco. Like there wasn't one more interesting place. I don't know. That was just interesting to me.
No, I hear you.
But no, I thought, I'm a huge fan of River, which was named Restaurant of the Year. So, and I appreciated Jeff's explanation of why he chose it. I mean, basically it was that it's the place he's wanted to go to again and again and share with people. And like, that feeling that it's, again, like just the sort of place that you want to repeat visit. And I mean, the food there is delicious. The space is beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was a great pick and, a great feather in the cap for Los Angeles this year, which is great.
Yeah, no, I mean, certainly getting that many. I mean, I'm always a fan whenever these lists include more Los Angeles places than San Francisco. And it's interesting because it seems to happen a lot on the best new restaurants, And I feel like it's kind of, to me, an indication that like opening a restaurant in San Francisco just doesn't seem like the appealing prospect it once was. Like, I feel like you would get a lot of chefs from the East Coast or even Europe moving to California because of our produce and then gravitating towards San Francisco and the Bay Area because that's sort of where the hub for like fine dining and exciting dining was for a long time. And yeah, I mean, year after year, I just feel like we get further proof that sort of like center of gravity has shifted towards Los Angeles. So that's really cool. I hear you. Listening to Jeff speak with Bill, he actually touched on why he put Jules in there. And he basically said that he had like a fine dining experience that kind of left him a little cold. And then right after that, he went to Jules and they were playing one of his favorite Rolling Stones albums. And, he was just having a great time. And it kind of just reminds you that like all of these lists are just what people like.
No, it's subjective. Yeah. It's the person's experience when they go there. And again, like I've had Jules pizza. It's delicious. Like I'm not knocking that pizza places are on the list, obviously. Yeah. But no, I agree with your point that I feel like LA is a little bit more innovative now, and we have a lot more fine dining than we did, say, 10 years ago. So it's just, and like these highly personal restaurants. Like I haven't been to Sora Craft Kitchen,
Me either.
The Turkish restaurant that was on the list, but I'm like, oh my God, I need to go there. It sounds so delicious. So
I know. Acquired taste outing. We should all go.
Exactly.
I don't think Bill's been either. Yeah, we should absolutely do it. But I have been to some of the others were Tomat, Betsy, Restaurant Key, Komal, and River, of course. I think I've been to all of those. Some of them left me a little colder than others, though. I'm not going to lie. And I was very surprised to not see Baby Bistro on the list.
That's interesting. I was thinking about possible omissions for LA. I was a little surprised by Baby Bistro as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they're too new because like River actually technically opened last year, but it was probably too close to their publication and all their their scouting probably had to be done by that point.
Right.
Could be something that's held till next year, potentially. I also was a little bit surprised given that it was awarded all the Michelin stars that Somni was nowhere to be found as well.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about Somni. That's a really good shout.
Yeah, and I checked last year's list just to like double check that it wasn't on last year's.
Wow.
And it was not. So I thought that was an interesting omission, just given the accolades it's already gotten. But I still have not eaten there either, so I don't have an educated opinion. But
that's a little out of the budget for an acquired taste team outing, so we'll save that one. But
exactly, we'll go to.
but no, that is interesting. I hadn't thought of that either. But then again, thinking back on like what Jeff sort of like his reasoning for the list, and how they always like come up with these thematic like ties that tie everything together. He was saying like this was a year of fun, and it felt like it was, his ethos was very much like let's make a list for the people, and so it kind of makes sense why he wouldn't have put like a $600 tasting menu on there necessarily.
Totally.
But yeah, no, that is an interesting omission. That is a very, very interesting omission. Yeah, I mean, look, will you tell me what you liked about River?
Oh, that's a bold question, or rather, the inflection. The inflection was
just a question. Yeah.
I think he's so good with vegetables. I loved I've been maybe 3 times. Every single time I've gone, I've loved all the vegetable dishes that I've had.
Yeah.
I thought like the hand rolls were delicious. The pork tonkatsu that I had was like perfectly fried. I really liked the cocktails. And I liked the vibe. I mean, I think it's like lively.
Yeah.
The service is friendly, but it's not like overbearing. I really enjoy it, but I'm assuming from your tone that you don't.
I like it. I just think it's a B plus.
Sure.
And that's how I felt about it. And I was like, that's great. We can do with more like B plus restaurants where you can go and like have a consistent, reliable meal and have a great night out with your friends. Like not every restaurant needs to be reinventing the wheel like a Baby Bistro does. Which, by the way, I had way more misses at Baby Bistro than I had at River, for example, right? But I was still just like, I think about the Baby Bistro meal more, you know?
Yeah, it's certainly, Baby Bistro is very ambitious and it's very different.
Yeah.
Like Miles is just doing something completely different over there.
Yeah. But hey, I don't know. I feel like this is my Magic Castle syndrome coming back. Like I'm just ruined.
Exactly.
So yeah, no. But good. Hey, this really interesting pieces. We're going to link them in the show notes. Everybody go give Karen's pieces some love. Any other things in the works that you wanna plug for our listeners?
Well, I already mentioned a couple places that I'm going to dine in the next 2 days, basically. Working on stories about those.
Oh, right. I didn't even get that dog whistle. I just thought like you were just going there for fun.
And then, I've been working on a piece about the rise of the $25 cocktail in California. So stay tuned for that one.
That is fascinating to me. We're in a big cocktail era in our household. So mostly making them at home and dabbling with mixology, but also when we're out, we want to like experience them. And they're a pretty penny this day.
They've gotten pricey. I mean, everything's gotten more expensive, but just kind of digging into like why that seems to be the going price at some places. So,
well, I'll be looking out for that with a keen eye. Karen, are you down for a round of Chef's Kiss Big Miss?
Always. Let's do it.
Sense a little trepidation this time. Okay.
No.
Former critic of the Chicago Sun-Times, Michael Nagrin, posted what can only be described as a diatribe against the James Beard Awards on his Substack, The Hunger. Nagrin's screed comes after serving as a judge in the Outstanding Chef Great Lakes category for 1 year, and his critiques consist of the following. I'm going to rattle through these because it is a long-ass Substack in case you haven't seen it, dear listener. He argues that the judging process is driven by politics, personal alliances, and grudges, rather than culinary excellence. He says there's almost zero transparency with key decisions made by a few select individuals and vote totals hidden from judges and the public. He says many judges are unqualified, ethically compromised, or vote on restaurants they haven't actually visited. And in a left turn nobody saw coming, he takes issues with the awards increasingly prioritizing impact statements and identity over food quality, especially in the wake of George Floyd, creating winners that don't reflect true best-in-class dining. Finally, having not been invited to return as a judge this year, Michael concludes that leadership inconsistently enforces rules and pushes out dissent, resulting in an opaque, biased, and credibility-damaging system. Karen, my question for you, are Nagrin's grievances a whistleblowing chef's kiss or a sour grapes-coated big miss?
I'm going to hold off on giving it a chef's kiss or a big miss. You're right. It is a very long diatribe for anybody who wants to read it. I come out of it with a few thoughts. I think that which he acknowledges this in the beginning of his post. Any awards or judging panel or, editors creating a list is imperfect.
Right.
People come in with biases and relationships, and it's never going to be a perfect system. That said, if some of the things that he was saying, like expecting judges to vote on restaurants that they've never been to, the Beer Foundation not giving them enough money to dine at more than, let's say, two or three. I think it was 2 restaurants, basically. Like, it doesn't inspire confidence in the fact that these are that the process is working, because it's basically then just people voting on reputation or these statements or whatever the case may be. So also, I really think that it sounds like there's a lack of transparency for the judges outside of New York, and that's a problem as well. That said, it was a highly gossipy piece where I just felt like, I feel like these points could have been made maybe in a more professional way than taking up beef with the chair of his committee and all this stuff. Like,
totally.
That's just me personally. I feel like he would have had a much stronger argument without getting petty with it. You know what I mean? Like, I just, again, 100%. Like, I appreciate him being a whistleblower and calling out some of these flaws in the system. But a lot of it rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. Look, I've done some work in crisis comms in my professional life, and I will say, if ever there's a situation like this, one of the ways that, entities that are being attacked often debunk arguments is by saying, well, look at this disgruntled person, their motives are clearly like fucked up, and therefore their argument is not valid. And this dude just like completely opened himself up to that, because I think he was trying to be like open and disclosing the fact that he had some beef with the foundation by virtue of falling out with the chair, and also by virtue of not being invited back to be a judge in the subsequent year. But the fact that he leaned so heavily into that gossipy angle and like really brought up a lot of personal grievances, I think actually obfuscated some of the good points he was making, some of the good points.
Exactly.
So yeah. I completely agree with you there. I think with a lot of this stuff, like the Beard Awards have to choose between the lesser of two evils sometimes. Like, for example, they were knocked in the past for being gatekeepers and just having like the same people vote in awards all of the time, right? And so one of the ways that they tried to, fix for that is by inviting more people to be voters, and by also like cycling out voters year to year so that you're not always getting the same people. Now, what that does is it does create this environment where not everybody is going to be able to get to every single restaurant that's nominated, because like, for example, for like California, right, you have one voting body that's split between the state that's voting on restaurants from all over the state. Like, not every judge has been to every single restaurant. So what happens is you get people in Northern California arguing for restaurants in Northern California, and people in Southern California arguing for restaurants in SoCal. And they're trying to come to a consensus, not having been to all of the restaurants, right? They're just trying to look at it on basically just like as objective as possible merits, right? It's not a perfect system, but I think that the Beard Awards don't want to be like Michelin, where they just send like random, like super, super like opaque, who knows who the fuck they are judges, like inspectors, right? And like, they don't want to be like that. They don't want to be like the world's 50 best, where it's the same deal and people knock it for that. So they chose the lesser of two evils in an effort to make things more equitable. And yeah, there's going to be imperfections there, but like, to just kind of like go all out and say that this is completely bad, like, I think is unfounded. And not to mention, like, this guy, like, it was just so clear to me that he had never had to like actually design a process, because you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me when people were having the conversations around abolish prisons. Okay, I don't know where you stand on that. Like, I have my thoughts on that, right? But I think that the weakness of the abolish prisons movement back in the day was that they didn't have an answer for what do you do instead,
Right.
It's like...
Right. Like, what's the better way to do this?
Exactly. What's the better way to do this? Wherever you stand on the issue, like, you gotta have an answer for, okay, what do you do instead of prisons? This guy didn't have an answer for what do you do instead of prisons, So right. That to me was one of the biggest issues with this entire piece. And again, if he just leaned less into sour grapes, maybe we would have bought it more. The part where he just completely lost me personally was with the equity thing. The guy complains that the awards have become too equitable, and that they like don't recognize the best food, and they recognize like chefs of color, basically, he was arguing is a bad thing. And I know that he made plenty of caveats that he's actually left of center and he's a good person and you don't want to hate him, et cetera, et cetera. But just like, come on, dude, read the room. Like,
it's not a good look in 2025.
No, it's a horrific look. And it's also like, the whole goal of what the James Beard Awards did to reform was to make it so a Kuya Lord could win, an Anajac could win, and it wasn't just the Spagos and the Republiques winning every year after year, right? So
exactly.
In that sense, they've succeeded, right? And no one can really argue that Kuya Lord and Anajac aren't excellent restaurants. So I don't know, dude, get over yourself, start your own awards. That's my take.
Exactly. Yep, he needs to start his own award system.
All right, I'm giving this a big miss. Karen's I'll give
it a big miss too.
Okay, nice. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah.
Greg Dulan of Dulan's fame was awarded the annual LA Times Gold Award, an award established by the late critic Jonathan Gold to recognize culinary excellence and a restaurant that expands the notion of what Southern California might be. The write-up by Lori Ochoa recognizes Dulan's pioneering role in cementing a legacy of soul food in Los Angeles and its resilience in staying open despite myriad challenges over the years. Karen, Dulan's winning the Gold Award. Chef's kiss or big miss?
I'm going to give it a big chef's kiss. I think this is a wonderful choice. And yeah, the restaurant is integral in the, the soul food scene in Los Angeles and such a pioneer. So I think it's a great choice.
Excellent choice. Yeah, no, I love this too. And, lest you think this is just like a community impact award, I had never been to Dulan's pre my year of the noodle last year, I'm ashamed to say, but I finally went to try their mac and cheese and I tried everything around it. It's just fucking good food. It's like really, really good food. Like that fried chicken, it is easily some of the best fried chicken I've had in Los Angeles. So it's really cool that the Gold Award exists to give some of these restaurants flowers that don't always get them from other lists. I won't name names, but I'm a big chef's kiss on this, not a big miss. Yeah, that's what it is. It's my game. I don't even remember it. All right, we agree. And then moving on to the next one. Ligaya Michon and Tejal Rouse sat down with New York Times deputy food editor Patrick Farrell to unpack what makes a 4-star restaurant. This in the wake of Michon's 4-star review of kaiseki restaurant Yamada. While the pair were light on specifics, the theme was that a 4-star restaurant needed to have a strong, singular point of view and a meticulous attention to detail that extends past the food and into the service ambiance and how the restaurant leaves you feeling as a guest. Karen, was Rao and Michon's explanation of what makes a 4-star restaurant a satisfactory chef's kiss for you, or a somewhat vague and ambiguous big miss?
I'm going to give it a chef's kiss just because I do think that they admit that, reviews are subjective. It does sound like, she went to this restaurant multiple times, went to other restaurants in the category multiple times, and I just... to me, it was interesting that they note, basically they're kind of saying like in the piece that like a neighborhood restaurant is almost never going to be a 4-star restaurant. Like it's always going to be,
right.
Or not always, but like most of the time it's going to be a pretty high-end place where like every single detail is very thought out. So I felt like that was some interesting insight because like you could be like, oh, this neighborhood place is so delicious. Why isn't it only a 2-star or 3-star? But I feel like they did give some insight into like what goes into those 4-star reviews, and they are few and far between. I can't remember what number was this, like the 5th or 6th or the so it's like
only like the 5th.
These are
something like
exceptional restaurants and exceptional experiences, and they need to be treated as such.
Yeah, Tejal called like the restaurant you're describing, like the more neighborhood restaurant that gets a 4-star, a mythical beast, like something that she's on the hunt for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate that. I think if anybody can find it, it's her. So like, and Ligaya. So I think that I'm excited to see if they're able to, I didn't even prep you for this question, but off the dome, are there any Los Angeles restaurants that are maybe, not of a white tablecloth ilk that you think could make a case for 4-star?
I'm going to say no. First of all, not a lot of places come to mind, but I also think that like service in more casual Los Angeles restaurants can be kind of spotty. So like, I just don't know that they'd be up to the level.
It can, yeah.
Of a Providence or, Somni or whatever the case might be. Those like fine dining restaurants.
Yeah. I think that there's some in the past that maybe could have come close. Like maybe not, but like, is Meals by Jeanette still open?
It is, yeah.
Okay. I feel like at one point in time, that might have been a shout.
Yeah.
Based on like quality of food, singular point of view, what it was doing in Los Angeles and nationally, frankly, for Ethiopian food. And the service I remember being really attention to detail oriented and good. maybe they would have needed a few tweaks here and there, but like something like that maybe could have aspired, and it wasn't quite as white tablecloth as like these other places like 11 Madison Park. So yeah, you're right though. It's really hard to pinpoint, and I do think like service and ambiance is kind of the game changer.
Right. Well, yeah, and because plenty of restaurants here, I feel like do have a singular point of view, but I don't know that the rest of not that they both kind of said there's not really like a checklist specifically, but I don't know if the rest of the elements would completely measure up. So
very interesting piece. We shall see indeed. All right, second last one. DoorDash gets into the reservation game. We're a little late to this one, but DoorDash of delivery fame has started rolling out a feature in New York and Miami called Going Out. It's essentially a reservation platform that competes with Resy and OpenTable by offering users perks including DoorDash credits for booking via the app. DoorDash argues this is in service of their mission to keep bringing new patrons to restaurants. They say that during a testing phase in San Francisco, 80% of customers visited a restaurant they had never ordered from before. Karen, is DoorDash's entry into the reservation game a benevolent no-brainer of a chef's kiss, or a big miss that nudges us ever closer to delivery apps controlling the face of restaurants?
I do like the idea of, making a reservation and getting DoorDash credit, because it continues, bringing money back to different restaurants, because you might order from a different place that you made a reservation at. That said, I feel like there are enough reservation options out there already. Yeah. And do we need another one? So I'm going to give it a big miss, just based on that.
I like that. Strong point of view. Yeah, I mean, the argument against that, I guess, is just that, I think it's actually kind of shitty for, restaurants to have to pick one reservation app. I feel like restaurants should be able to be on all of the apps. I just feel like if you want to maximize your choices of finding your person, you're going to download all the dating apps, right?
Right.
I'm past the dating app area. I missed that era, but
You didn't miss much, Luca.
That's what I hear. But Tinder, Hinge. If I was looking for my partner, I'd download them all, and I'd just be maximize my chances, right? I feel like restaurants who are in need of being matched with customers, so to speak, should be able to do the same. And I feel like DoorDash is trying to do that in some way, shape, or form, because they still include all of the other platforms on their platform. You can still book via Resy or via OpenTable on DoorDash. So I like that it gives restaurants another option, so they don't have to be exclusive with necessarily one platform. I hear you. It's so confusing out there right now. I'm actually going to ask you for a recommendation on where to take my wife for her birthday, but there's a very specific reason, and we'll get to that in a moment. But it's impossible. I was navigating OpenTable, then navigating Resy, then cross-referencing the two, right, then using Google, then realizing, oh wait, this thing's on Talk, then being oh wait, this thing just needs me to call them, and it took me way longer than it needed to.
Yeah, I guess that's my point. It's it's already confusing enough for the consumer. That's really where I'm coming from. But
yeah, no, it's a good one. It's a good POV. Okay, nice. Last one. The Infatuation dropped a list of best places to have an office holiday party, suggesting spots like Jelena for a small tech startup, Baron Jack for an Instagram fashion brand, and Lowry's the Prime Rib for a very corporate law firm. Karen, office holiday parties in general, are they a chef's kiss or a big miss?
Oh man, I mean, I feel like most companies have kind of done away with the holiday party, or they've gotten much more pared down and just aren't as, let's say, celebratory as they used to be.
Yeah.
In my early days in New York, went to some great holiday parties. I'm going to give them a chef's kiss. I think it's nice to have everybody together to blow off steam, as long as it's a pretty controlled environment and people aren't, getting too crazy. And actually, I liked the Infatuations list. I felt like it was the picks for each category were very spot on, so I appreciate that they had a sense of humor with it.
It's a good list. They know how to make a list, those people. We'll put the link in the show notes. Best office party you've ever had. Best office holiday party.
I mean, again, I don't feel like I've been to a big office holiday party in a really long time.
Yeah.
So you know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't even go to SF Gates because it's up in San Francisco. So
Sad. Okay, sounds like we need an acquired taste one. Maybe one day.
Exactly.
Karen, congratulations. You win the game. A round of applause.
Great. Again?
You just keep winning. You're on a winning streak. You're like the Detroit Pistons.
I love it.
I'd like to end on a question that I have for you. It's a recommendation question. And as I mentioned, it's my wife's birthday coming up.
No pressure.
Yes, seriously. She's a huge holiday person, right? And so I wanted to find like a really Christmassy restaurant to bring her to. And I found that I saw this like TikTok that like Tam O'Shanter goes like all out. They like have carolers and it's like super decorated.
That was going to be my recommendation. But...
Well, guess what? I booked it and they only had outside fucking tables. And I feel like...
Oh, no. Yeah.
You can't do that, right? So right now I have an outdoor reservation at Tam O'Shanter. I called them and I was like, hey, it's my wife's birthday. Please, can you move us inside?
Right.
And they're like, no, we have absolutely nothing. It cannot be done. So...
Oh, you know where you could go? Here's another recommendation. The Smokehouse.
Ooh, of Jax Taylor fame too.
Yeah, they get exactly. Whereas Kristen's a vegetarian and he takes her to a steakhouse. They get super decked out. It's super old school. I mean, the food is like...
Do they have martinis?
Oh yeah. And then
do they have steak?
They have steak. They have prime rib.
Then she'll be happy.
They have like in the bar area. Sometimes there's like a live band and stuff. It's very. I love it. I did New Year's there with my parents one year. It was like fantastic.
Okay, thank you so much. I had Father Saul book Dear John's for me, but I think smoke.
Oh, that could be. I don't know that they really like decorate there though. Like if you really want like holiday, I would go Smokehouse.
Okay, Smokehouse it is. Fuck you, Dear John's. Great. Just kidding. We love you, Dear John's. Remember
Dear John's.
remember when Josiah Citron commented on our post being like, actually, Dear John's is the best old school restaurant in LA.
I know. It's like, it's your restaurant, sir.
That's a good one.
Hey, I get it.
Karen, how do you feel about holiday guides? Like holiday gift guides?
Oh, I love holiday gift guides. I used to put them together a lot. I think they're fun.
Yeah, you're a pro. Well, I'm interested to see what you think of this next segment because right after the break, we're going to come back with my wife's holiday gift guide for you all, dear listeners.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yep, that's right. All right. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you for having me.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, dear listener, and if you know what that means on the LA Food Podcast, it means that it's time for our annual gift guide. Now, last year, you had me and Father Saul doing it, but this year we decided to upgrade, and for that reason, we're bringing a very special guest. That is my wife. Wife, how you doing today?
Good.
This is your first time being on the podcast that's not travel related. Do you feel like you're becoming a more entrenched part of the show?
No.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Why did you want to do the gift guide?
I feel like, one, I did it last year and just let you pretend they were your ideas.
No way.
And then, two, I actually feel like this is where I shine.
It's true. You do shine at giving gifts. And also, this is your favorite holiday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I thrive in the months of November and December.
Well, mostly December, I would say.
That's when I turn up, yeah.
Where does your love for Christmas come from? I don't think I've ever actually asked you this.
I don't know. I mean, what's not to love? I love great food, warm lighting, festivities. I love holiday parties and cookies and presents and
shitty
kindness.
Hallmark movies.
Oh, I also love shitty Hallmark movies. So yeah, no, the list is never ending.
Yeah, it's just very interesting to me because I feel like typically people can like point back to like, you know, a relative or something that like made them love Christmas. You just feel like it just feels like it was in your DNA to love this holiday.
Yeah, it chose me. Do you ever feel like when you do this that you're Kristen Bell on Nobody Wants This? Because right now I feel like you're sassy sister and we're just, you know.
Am I Kristen Bell or am I the other one?
You are Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
And I'm the sister.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's very much the dynamic here. Even though I've always wanted to be Adam Brody, I guess I am Kristen Bell. All right. How have you thought about crafting this gift guide?
So actually, not to toot my own horn, but this is something people reach out to me about. In my social circle, in my personal life, people do come to me and say, what do I get this person as a gift? Not just for the holidays, but for random things, for random people, whatever. This is something that I feel is a special skill set of mine.
Yeah, you're an influencer, but for like 5 friends.
I am a micro influencer. I am. I influence basically just like my best friend and a few other select people.
Follow Saul among them, actually.
Yeah, I would say so, except for he's not a good consumer.
No.
I make him mood boards, I make him shopping lists, I give him links, and he never purchases any of it. Yet he begs me to make them for him. And so for years I've been doing this, and he just never uses them. So my talents are wasted on him.
Yeah, as are most people's talents, to be fair. Okay, you were saying.
Yeah, this is just something that I think that I'm good at. What were you asking? Is it like
how? Because you were telling me that you've thought about this gift guide in a certain way, like you've divided it into categories.
Yeah, I think that's how most gift guides that I see are divided. Whether that's actually like a kind of functional choice or whether that's just stylistic and like a cute little thing, that's anybody's opinion, but that's how I've divided it, is like who these gifts might be good for. So that's how I thought about it. And initially I actually had 3 suggestions in each category. Mm-hmm. I narrowed that down to 2 in each category, one of which is a gift for purchase and the other which is a homemade gift, because I'm not sponsored, nobody's paying me to be here, and
I'm sure as shit not.
So I think that gift guides, if they really are good, are all about making sure that you get the right gift. Not that, I'm not a sellout, basically, is what I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm here with real thoughts, real opinions, and not necessarily here to like plug brands, because brands don't want me.
Nothing here is sponsored, dear listener, right? This is all stuff that you actually would be happy receiving.
Correct. And that's why I am doing some anti-capitalist work on this gift list too, by including some items that have nothing to do with brands and are all about things that you can do or make or create on your own.
Okay, so what are these categories?
So should I go one by one and go into them, or do you just want to hear the categories to start?
I want to hear the categories to start, just to like level set for our listeners.
Okay. So the first one is for the cocktail lover.
For the cocktail, so for yourself, basically.
I am all of the people on this list. I'd be happy receiving any of this.
Okay. Cocktail lover, number 1. Who we got number 2?
For the host or hostess. With the most or mostess.
We're about to make the same joke, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we got cocktail lover, host. What do we got next?
For the white elephant.
Ooh, to bring to the white elephant.
Yes. Now, we host an annual white elephant party that is a huge hit and a tried and true tradition.
A who's who, a legendary, iconic event. If you haven't been invited, who the fuck even are you?
It is the highlight of my year, but I would go so far as to say it's the highlight of many people's year.
I'd say it's the highlight of the social calendar period.
It might just be.
Yeah.
But I will emphasize that my suggestions are not my white elephant gift this year. Maybe on a later date, I will share what my white elephant gift is. But these are things that I think would make good white elephant gifts.
Sick. Okay, so that's the third category.
Oh, and I probably should add that I know people do white elephant differently. I think white elephant is best played when there is not a whole lot of limitation on what kind of gift the person can bring, aside from a price cap.
Do people put other types of limitations on?
Yeah, some people say like white elephants have to be weird gifts, bad gifts, that they have to be gifts that play into a certain theme or something like that. And I think white elephant's the best when you have some gifts that are awesome that everyone wants and some gifts that suck and some gifts that are funny. And that's how you really get the stealing and that's how you really drum up true emotion in the game, which is where it gets fun.
That's fair. That's a good perspective. Okay, so those are 3 categories. We have 2 more?
Yes.
What are they?
Second one is for the family.
For the family. Like, When you say for the family, is this like a family-friendly gift for people with kids or like for your parents?
This is more kind of like for your grandma, for your mom, you know, that sort of thing. It's kind of hard, right? Because like everybody's family is sort of different. You might have something on the hostess list that's really good for someone in your family. But the idea here is that these are things that for somebody who you might not see every day, or somebody who you know, you're extremely close to, that they work either way, and they're gifts that are appropriate to open up in front of a big group of people on Christmas morning.
So no butt plugs is what I'm hearing.
Correct.
All right, last one.
For the experience junkie.
Experience junkie. That feels like a wild card category.
No, I think this is, I mean, it's like, I was cute, obviously, about how I titled it. Because I'm adorable.
Oh, you said experience junkie.
What did you hear?
I heard experienced junkie. So like a person who had
like a drug addict?
Yeah, I thought you were like here's the gift for the heroin addict.
Oh, that would be a really specific category and a really weird one.
And then you were like, I just got cute about it. So I was like very confused. Anyways, so those are the categories. Great categories. Why don't we start with the category number 1?
Okay. So category number 1 was the cocktail lover, for the cocktail lover. My first suggestion is for something called Vaso vermouth, which, as I've stated before on this podcast, I believe vermouth is having at least a renaissance in my life. I am really excited about vermouth, but we mostly, when we talked about it and when we've kind of gone and tried some vermouths and gone to certain bars and kind of played around with that, we've been talking sweet vermouth.
Yeah.
Now, this is a dry vermouth. And the cool thing about Vaso, one, their branding is awesome, so it's a very like cute bottle to bring, but also they're doing flavored vermouths that are really cool, mostly savory, really cool vermouths. So they have like a collab with Fishwife, I think, that's like an anchovy. I think they have like a tomato vermouth.
I could see that. I could see that working.
Yes. What I've been really into this year is the extra dirty martini. So they have an olive vermouth that I made an extra dirty martini with the other night, and you said it was the best martini you'd maybe ever had.
I didn't say ever had.
Ever in the history of the world.
I definitely said
since you were born.
I had ever had at home, for sure.
Okay,
and
I'll take it.
No, and it was, I definitely attribute that to the Vaso vermouth, because you were telling me that it has not just olive notes in the vermouth, but there's also some more floral notes as well.
Some more herbal, floral. Like, I'm actually interested to try it with gin, because we did a vodka martini.
Yeah.
But it has definitely some of the same notes that you might find in like a gin.
Yeah.
And I think it adds a really nice kind of depth and complexity.
True. That's what I got from it, right?
Yeah.
There was a layer of complexity I hadn't had before, and it wasn't like artificial olive tasting or anything. It felt like you had put a regular amount of olive brine that you would add to a regular martini, but then there was that special something extra too. And that was the Vaso touch, I think.
Yes, and I actually followed the recipe on the back of the bottle for I think they call it like a Vaso dirty martini or extra dirty martini. So I was using olive brine and the olive Vaso vermouth, and it was in no way too much.
Vaso spelt?
VESO.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You win the spelling bee.
So if you have somebody who is messing around with mixology, or even just like a martini lover in your life, that is something that I think is like a really cool, unique gift. Probably something that they're not seeing every day, that they don't already have in their bar cabinet, that I think is really fun. The sort of thing that somebody probably won't buy for themselves, which I think always makes a great gift.
Yeah, 100%. All right, what's the DIY version?
The DIY for cocktail is to make your own limoncello.
Oh, this is a dangerous proposition.
It can be. So I think we're recording this today on December 1st.
December 1st.
Okay, so there is time, because this one requires a little bit of time, but it is pretty simple. You need a high proof alcohol, like I think even Yeah, I think you can use vodka, but you need like a very high proof vodka. You can use like Everclear or something like that. You're using lemons, and there is this wait period where you have to infuse the alcohol with the lemon, which I think is like 2 weeks. I think you kind of need like 2 weeks at minimum to do this.
So right now you got plenty of time.
You've got time right now, yeah. But I think it's really cool. You can use a bottle that you have from something else. And I think if you make your own little label, I think that's such a special gift and something that's really kind of unique. And it's a great opportunity to try and kind of do something fun during the month of December. Get in the kitchen, get weird, you know?
That's a really good one, actually. In fact, I think it's just 3 ingredients, right? It's just liquor, sugar, and lemons.
Correct. Yeah. Super easy.
Yeah, super easy. Great one. Okay. And then you can come up with cute branding, right? For me, it would be Luca's Limoncello.
Yeah,
very
adorable.
Easy. Yeah, very easy for me.
Yeah.
We can't say yours because we can't say your name on this podcast.
It would be Wife's Limoncello. The brand would be Wife. I actually think, we're joking, but I actually think that like I can see it.
WYFE Limoncello would kill. All right, anyways, next category, who we got?
For the host or hostess with the
most or mostest.
Correct. So my first suggestion is a really nice butter.
Ooh.
And a butter bell. Now I'm going to kind of dive into each of these because it's a two-parter gift, right?
Yeah.
So for the hostess, I'm imagining that for this category, these are things that you bring to a Christmas party, that you bring to somebody's house you're staying at, that you bring to a dinner party, right? This is something so that, you know, you don't show up empty-handed. Mm-hmm. So I always like bringing something with me when I come to somebody's house. And I know a lot of people recommend, especially like in the culinary world, like everyone loves a nice bottle of olive oil, but I think that gets a little tired personally. And I don't know about other people's houses, but I think we have 30 bottles here like floating around that are all like partially used.
Yeah, true.
So a nice butter. French butter is very kind of trendy. In fact, there's like a lot of videos on social media, like a whole subculture on social media of people who talk about how to smuggle French butter back into the US.
Was that a pun? Subculture?
Oh, cute. No, but I mean, truly and honestly, no pun intended, but yeah, it was.
Wow. Do you have a suggestion of brand of French butter?
Not off the top of my head, because to be totally honest, I'm not experienced with French butter, but I do know that you can get really nice French butters at places like Surface in LA, any kind of like specialty gourmet shop. Wine and Eggs, I think, carries some special butters. But in all honesty, if I was headed to somebody's house, I would have absolutely no problem bringing a stick of Kerrygold.
Kerrygold?
Yeah.
That's deranged.
Is it?
You're just buying grocery store butter to bring to someone's house?
Grocery store butter? Kerrygold's nice.
Yeah, it's nice for the grocery store.
Honestly, I would bring a 6-pack of Land O'Lakes. I think that works just as well. Genuinely.
I'm not sure I can co-sign this one, but Land O'Lakes, that said, if you'd like to sponsor this podcast, we are all ears.
The point is, you're bringing something, it's sweet, it's thoughtful, and it's coming with another thing, right? I'm not showing up to somebody's house with like a random stick of butter. I'm showing up to somebody's house with a 2-part gift, which is the butter, and that brings me to the butter bell, which is something that I didn't know existed until last year. I got one for my dad for Christmas last year. He loved it. But if you do not know, a butter bell is a sort of primitive invention in which there's like, I think the one that I got was made out of marble. Target actually has like really nice ones, but you can get them from all kinds of stores. But it sort of looks like a jar, and on one side you pour a bit of water, and on the other side you fill it with butter. And when you close it, that actually creates an airtight seal. So you can keep the butter safely out on the counter. And you always have perfect room temperature butter, because that is the hardest part of consuming butter is getting it right, because it's only good when it's been sitting out at room temperature. I find that even the shortcuts that people use, like, you know, heating up a glass and sitting that over the butter, putting it in the microwave for 10 seconds or something, it's never quite right. It's either still a little cold or melted. So,
or like uneven, you know?
Yes, like the you have like a hard cold core and like it's too soft around the edges. So this is really the best way to have great perfect room temperature butter on your counter at all times.
All right. Butterbell and Land O'Lakes.
Butterbell and nice French butter. However, we're not snobs, are we?
I am about butter because I don't really eat butter unless it's in cooking or if it's like really nice butter.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Well, if I received some Land O'Lakes and a Butterbell, I would be like, that is so cute and thoughtful.
All right. Fair enough. That makes one of us. What is the DIY one for the host with the most or the hostess with the most S?
It is the gift that I'm actually giving to my friends and colleagues this year, which is
cookies.
Homemade shortbread. Homemade shortbread. I recommend Mark Bittman's New York Times master shortbread recipe. You can add whatever you want to it. This year I did espresso chocolate chip, traditional shortbread with holiday sprinkles, maple pecan, and cranberry orange.
Yeah.
I've done it before in the past and made savory shortbreads. We were actually talking about fun flavors for savory shortbreads that I might do next year, and I think we came up with like cacio e pepe, chive and cheddar. Everything bagel. Yeah, there's a lot of fun you can have, and you can use one master recipe and then just sort of adapt it.
Yeah.
What I really like about doing this is that shortbread is usually slice and bake, so you can just make a bunch of dough, create the logs, keep them in your fridge or freezer, and then when you know that you're about to see that person, you want to give them that gift, you can just slice them off and bake them, and you have fresh baked shortbread to give them the next time you see them for the holidays.
This is a good one. All right, next category. What do we got?
For the white elephant.
The white elephant?
Okay. So my first suggestion is a cookbook called Scrounging that is by A24.
What?
Yeah, so it is described as a collection of late-night, last-ditch recipes and ingenious back-of-the-pantry meals straight from the movies. So it has recipes that, frankly, don't sound super appetizing, but are all kind of like infamous from iconic movie moments. So things like the Pixie Six sandwich from The Breakfast Club, the tennis racket spaghetti from The Apartment, the 12-scoop ice cream sundae from Home Alone, Kramer and Kramer's divorced dad French toast, things like that. So that's kind of why I thought it's a fun white elephant. It's not necessarily for the food lover. It's more for the movie buff or as a gag gift, or for somebody that loves food and also loves movies or is into pop culture. I think it's just a fun one. And I think there's like 54 recipes in it or something, all from different movies. And A24 is always cool. So I'm sure that, I haven't flipped through it myself, but I have looked into it. And I bet, I know like they write the recipes in like Courier and it's spiral bound, kind of like, has that kind of manuscript or script feel to it. So I think it's a fun one.
It is. I don't think it would be the hottest gift at the white elephant, but I think it'd be up there, like top 75 percentile.
Okay. Wasn't asking for feedback, but all right.
Just being honest. All right, what about the DIY white elephant gift?
Okay. Homemade granola and include the recipe.
Ooh, that's clutch.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. That is actually something that I gave our friend Nicole for her birthday, I think, earlier this year.
And you added the recipe?
Yeah, I gave her the recipe.
I feel like restaurants do this, like 3 Michelin star restaurants, like Addison or Vespertine, they give you the granola at the end. Dude, if they put in the recipe, it would just make you feel like part of the family.
It does sort of like change things. One, granola is really easy to make, which is good for you because December's busy. And if you're going to make a homemade gift, you don't want one that you're having to like slave over or rush to do. So this is a really easy thing, but it's also great because if you're giving it to someone as a gift and you give them the recipe, it's something that anyone could feasibly make.
It's also like give a man a fish, he dines once, but teach a man to fish. He's making granola for the rest of his life. Baby.
Oh yeah, that's a gift that people are going to remember if it becomes one of their favorite recipes. And I will say, when I have given this out and given the recipe, people have said, I am absolutely going to make this. This is amazing. Choose your own favorite granola recipe, but I use Molly Baz's miso maple granola recipe. Really easy and so good.
Great. I like that one a lot. Okay, next category. What do we got?
For family.
For family.
Yes.
Okay. What are we thinking?
So my first suggestion is actually one that is inspired a little bit by you and something that you gave to your family one year. I don't think for Christmas.
Just the audacity of hope by Obama to every single family member?
Close. You made a cookbook of your grandmother's recipes.
So this is the DIY one.
You would think so. I actually have a DIY one that I'm pretty excited about. This, I still consider to be a purchase because I think to really do this well, you need to use a company to print one up.
Yeah, like Shutterstock, I think I used. Shutterfly?
Shutterfly, yeah. I think you used. I really like Artifact Uprising. They do really cool, pretty kind of bound books. And you could make a really cool one on there. Include some nice photos. Use like storied family recipes, things like that. There's a way to sort of include everyone. And I think it's also really nice to do what you did, which is make a bunch of them and give them all to your family during Christmas. That's kind of a really sweet gift that I think brings everybody together, reminds everybody of your history together. So if you have a culinary family or a family that has kind of famous recipes that are, famous within your family, then that's, I think, a really sweet gift.
It's good, too, if the recipes are shit, honestly.
It's kind of fun, too.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's like a white elephant hybrid.
That's good. I will say it is an emotional trigger warning. Like, especially if you're making it for, like, a loved one who's passed away, very emotional process to do this. So
this is like very you coded. I think a lot of people won't have this problem, but you cry all the time.
You think I'm the only softie that's in this podcast community?
It's possible.
Yeah, I guess so. You hard-hearted listeners out there. Okay, what's the DIY for this category?
The DIY is potentially the most boring thing on this list, and it is the one that I am most thrilled about. I actually can't wait to do it myself. I might do it like on Sunday.
This
I'm
year?
not excited.
For family?
This would be a gift that you could give family.
Okay.
Don't laugh.
Okay, I'm scared.
Make your own sugar cubes.
What?
Yes. Make your own sugar cubes.
Okay. First of all, how? Second of all, why? Third of all, what?
Okay. So something that I think is a really lovely gift are these little, you see them in a lot of specialty stores. I think it's a French brand that makes these little sugar cubes. They make them in different shapes. And sometimes they look like little teapots or little rosettes or things like that. And, sometimes in different colors. And they use brown sugar. They use cane sugar. Whatever. And I thought, oh my God, those are adorable. That would be such a cute gift. But the more that I looked into it, the more I realized, that's something you could do yourself. And sure enough, it is. So for every cup of sugar, use 1 tablespoon of water, and that's it. Get some candy molds in really cute little molds or whatever it is that you like. Something that you can make personal or funny or whatever it is. And you basically take this water sugar mixture, mix it up till it feels kind of like wet sand. You press it into the candy molds and you leave it overnight. The next day you pop them out and you can keep them in an airtight container and share them. And you can use different flavorings, different food coloring, and make them really fun. But I think for a mom, for a grandma, for a mother-in-law, for somebody who you would normally buy a candle for, this is a great gift.
Well, I was going to say the flavoring and the coloring, that makes sense to me. I feel like you gotta do something to make them a little unique.
No, you cannot make literal cubes.
I was gonna say, this feels like the worst gift of all time.
No, there's a fine line here. There is a very fine line that we need to tread very carefully. But if you have fun doing stuff like that, I might be one of one, but I would love doing this.
Also great if your family consists exclusively of horses. Anyways, don't they eat sugar cubes?
Oh, I think you're right, actually.
Yeah. That's like their treat.
I don't know if that's like an old wives' tale or something, but that's somewhere in my lizard brain that I'm like, yes, that rings a bell.
That is very much their treat. Not so good if your family is all diabetics, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, moving on to the final category. This one is?
For the experienced junkie.
For the experienced junkie, not the experienced junkie. That's
correct.
That's a different
gift. Different list.
Both the bot gift and the DIY lift is just crack for that one. Anyways, what do you got here?
So the first one is a class. Specifically, I think a class at Kitchen Lingo in Long Beach or a place like that. Kitchen Lingo is a really cute bookstore in Long Beach for culinary things, like cookbooks.
Yeah.
They do a lot of vintage or used cookbooks too. So if you're looking for something rare, that's like a great place to go. A cookbook that you remember in your kitchen when you were growing up or something, you can probably find it there. But they also have really cool classes. I think right now they have a coffee brewing class going on. But one that I've always wanted to try there is a knife skills class. And I think that that's great for anyone who maybe isn't a professional chef or doesn't have that skill set, is learning knife skills.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I think that's a really fun one. And it's, I think, a little bit more specific than just a cooking class.
Okay, so we're on our last one. What is the DIY gift for the experienced junkie?
The DIY gift is to do your own wine tasting. So for someone that you love, you could create like a little kind of note or card, or a date and a time where you're going to do this. But essentially you can buy like 4 or 5 bottles of wine, and there are a lot of great infographics online for this, but different wines and what cheeses, what fruit, what nut, like what little combinations pair really well. You get a piece of butcher paper, some sort of placemat or something that you can write on, and put a little bit of wine in each glass. Put a little cube of whatever cheese it is. You can line it all up, and then you can go ahead and do the tasting together.
That's a really good one. I would have never thought to do that.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm here.
Why haven't you ever done that for me?
Would you like that?
I mean, yeah, anything you would do for me, it would be very sweet.
Okay. All right, sure.
All right, those were really good, babe. Those were like some really, really good gift suggestions. Dear listener, you're lucky. In case you're scrounging for gift ideas, we've got you covered. Let me finish with this question. Out of all of those gifts, which would you most like to receive?
I would most like to receive the opportunity to make the sugar cubes without you torturing me about it.
Done. I hope that your parents look forward to receiving multicolored lemon-flavored sugar cubes, and I will not make fun of you one bit. Babe, thanks again for a wonderful appearance on the podcast.
You're so welcome.
Happy holidays.
You too.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the LA Food Podcast. Thanks to our guests, Karen Palmer and my wife, sorry for the boring impression, for joining us. It was a real pleasure to have them both, and it was a real pleasure to have you with us, dear listener. If you enjoyed what you heard here today, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts, leave us a rating, review, subscribe. Seriously, all that stuff would actually be the best gift we could receive this holiday season. We'll be back next week with another epic episode, but if you're looking for me in the meantime, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, even our website at the LA Countdown. You can also find us at It's Acquired Taste on Instagram and at acquiredtastemedia.com.